Hey guys, it's Miss Smith and
Miss Randle. Hey guys, so we decided instead of showing you someone else's video, we would show you our own video. And today what we're going to do is we are learning a skill and going over a skill that you all didn't really do too well and perform too well on ANET 3. We're going to go over and we're going to review that skill with you guys, and we're going to use this video so that you can follow along with your worksheet that we're going to pass out, okay? So the skill that we're going to do is going to be comparing 3-digit numbers, and it's going to be using different forms of numbers that are in base 10. So numbers that might be in expanded form, or numbers that might be in written form, or sometimes just in regular standard form, okay? So Miss Smith is going to pretend to be the student, and I'm going to be the teacher. I'm going to show you how we're going to compare the numbers, but before we compare the numbers, we actually have to know what the value of each side of the numbers actually equals to. So we're going to show how to break down, how to decompose. Everybody say decompose.
decompose.
So we're going to learn how to decompose the number, and then we'll go back and we'll compare if it's greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay? So let's get started. So you should have your handy dandy worksheet in front of you. If we read the directions say follow along with the video to complete questions 1 and 2 on your worksheet. Then try numbers 3, 4, and 5 on your own. Good luck, scholars. So let's look at number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dry erase marker here, and I'm going to write down the problem that you actually have on your board. And your problem says, Ms. Smith, can you read that for us?
It says 19 tens is blank to 100 plus 90.
So it will look like this on your work. You have the exact same thing on your worksheet right in front of you, okay? So the first thing that I need to do, I think that you all are able to, I know that you all are able to break down this number. Miss Smith, this number is written in what form?
Expanded form.
This number is written in expanded form. So if Miss Smith was to solve this 100 plus 90, she would get
190.
Good job. Everybody say, good job, Miss Smith. Good job, Miss Smith. Good job. All right, so she has 190, okay? Now, there's a little problem right here because we have 19 tens, and normally we know if we have 10 tens, that equals 100. But what happens when you have 19 tens and it gets a little tricky and you have to regroup? So let's look at this. I'm going to count out 19 tens using my 10 rods, and I'm going to hand them to Miss Smith. So she's going to actually hold the 19 tens, and then we're going to talk about what that looks like and how you actually show how to regroup that, okay? So there's 1 10, 2 tens. You take over and count, Miss Smith.
3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens, 7 tens, 8 tens, 9 tens, 10 tens.
Uh-oh. I wonder what Miss Smith can do with 10 tens. Give us a thumbs up if you think you know what she can do with 10 tens. Uh-oh. Let's see. Miss Smith, what do you think we can do with the 10 tens?
Well, I know that 10 tens is equal to 100, so I think I can bundle them to make 100.
Yeah, I think you can bundle them too. Let's bundle those up. We don't have a rubber band, okay? She's going to bundle those up and she's going to trade. So let's have her go ahead and trade them. Let's see if she can trade her 10 tens for 100. I think that she can, because if we lay these on top of the 100 flat, it actually matches exactly to 100. So all we did right there, we just laid the 10 tens that we had right on top of that 100 flat. So I know that I can actually go ahead and regroup it for 100. So Miss Smith is going to go ahead and trade in her 10 tens for 100. So she was at 10 tens. She still has 9 tens left that she has to keep counting because it was 19. And we know that 10 and 9 give us 19. So she has to keep counting until she says 19 tens. So she already had 10 tens. She regrouped.
11 tens, 12 tens, 13 tens, 14 tens, 15 tens, 16 tens, 17 tens, 18 tens, 19 tens.
Wow, and we know that a place value can hold up to 9 units. We can hold up to 9 units, and once we get to 10, as Miss Smith just showed us earlier, we have to regroup. So now she has 9 tens, okay? So we took our 10 tens, we traded it in or regrouped for 100, and then we have 9 tens left over. Wow. So what number am I holding, Miss Smith, if I have 100 flat and I have 9 10 rods? Not 90 10 rods, but I have 9 10 rods. 100, 9 tens.
Well, 100 flat is equal to 100, and 9 tens is the same as 90, and 100 plus 90 is 190.
Wow. Let's give Miss Smith a hand, and a you go, girl. You go, girl. All right, so 190. So what I'm going to do now is right underneath of my 19 tens, I'm going to write 190. And now, yes, Miss Smith.
I have a question. Should we always do that whenever we're comparing numbers, write the actual number that it is in standard form beneath it?
I think that would be an awesome job to always go back and write it underneath, because sometimes, even though we might count it or try to do it in our head, and even sometimes when we draw a picture, sometimes you forget the number that you actually say or that you actually were thinking in your head. So if you write it down, you'll never forget it. So just how Miss Smith told us 100 plus 90 is 190, we wrote the number 190. And then we also wrote it down here underneath of 19 tens. We know that 19 tens is 190. So we also wrote that underneath. So yes, Miss Smith, I think you should always write it underneath so you never forget.
Good idea.
Okay? So this is what I want you to do in your worksheet. We showed it with base 10 blocks, but now what we need to do, we actually need to go ahead and we need to draw out what we just did, okay? So this is going to take a little time, but I need you to actually do your absolute best, okay? So that we can make sure that we truly understand it. So take your pencil, and on number 1, we're going to go ahead and we're going to try our best to go ahead and draw out what we actually did, okay? So Miss Smith has her pencil out, and she's getting ready for number 1. And right now, she is actually drawing 19 tens. She's actually drawing her 19 tens right above where it says 19 tens. And as soon as she gets done, she's going to show that to you.
What should I do with my 10 tens?
What should she do with her 10 tens? Well, let me model it for you. So I'm going to draw my 19 tens as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Those are my 19 tens. Miss Smith said, what should I do with my 10 tens? Because she has to regroup. She has to regroup. So what she should first do is count out her 10 tens. And then, Miss Smith, why don't you go ahead and circle your group of 10? Miss Smith's going to show you on her paper. So you should be following right along with us. Now, what we're going to do is, I want for Miss Smith to draw some type of arrow, maybe right by hers. Might look a little bit different because I ran out of room. But somehow draw an arrow, and I want her to turn that in to 100 flat, and then go ahead and write 100 in there so we know that that's what that equals.
Write the number inside.
Yep, right inside. Just like that, okay? And then we have right here where we basically have our 9 tens right here. So let's left over. Let's do this. Let's go 9 tens equals 90. Let's put that over there because that represents what we have left over on the side, okay? All right. And what we simply show there is 190. So underneath of your 19 tens, Miss Smith is going to simply write 190.
And then I should go ahead and write.
And now you should go ahead and write 190, yes, by the expanded form number. And Miss Smith is going to show you just what she just did. Awesome. Now, Miss Smith is ready to compare her numbers. So as Miss Smith is comparing her two numbers, 190 is greater than, less than, or equal to 190. Well, Miss Smith, what do you think?
190 is equal to 190.
190 is equal to 190, and I know that Miss Smith knows that because check this out. Whenever we are comparing these numbers, we need to make sure that we look in the greatest place value first. Our greatest place value in a 3-digit number is the hundredths place. So we look in the hundredths place, we have a 1 here and a 1 here. Then I know that I move over and I go into the tens place. I have a 9 here and a 9 here. And then I look in my ones place. I have a 0 here and a 0 here. None of the numbers, one of the numbers wasn't larger or smaller than the other. All of the numbers were the exact same. So that's how we know 190 is equal to 190. So you should have circled letter C. Awesome job.
This is great.
Good work.